السلام عليكم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله محمد سيد الأولين والآخرين. مدد يا رسول الله، مدد يا سادة الأحسان، مدد يا مشاهد دستور ولا شاء الله فاز داسات محمد الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن أعرض عن ذكري فإن له معيشة ضنكا. صدق الله العظيم. Allah Azze ve Celle'yi unutup
people have forgotten about Allah Almighty,
dünyaya dalan
and they are in a state where they have immersed deeply into this world.
hayatı sıkıntılı olur diyor Azze ve Celle, Allah Azze ve Celle.
And Allah Almighty says that those who forget about Allah Almighty and immerse into this world, that they will have a life full of troubles.
Allah unutan insan hiçbir zaman mutlu olmaz.
Whoever forgets Allah Almighty will never be happy.
Çünkü her dakika hatırlaması bile günde bir defa hatırlasa o yok günde.
Because people should always remember and remind themselves of Allah Almighty throughout the entire day. And only if they remembered Allah once a day.
Haftada bir defa.
But even people don't even remember Allah Almighty once a day. They don't remember Allah Almighty once a week.
Ayda bir defa hayatta hiç hatırlamayan.
And there are even people who don't remember Allah Almighty, not even throughout their entire lives a single time.
Hiç kale almayan çoğu insan öyledir.
There are many people who ignore Allah Almighty throughout their entire lives.
Onun için daima sıkıntılar insanlık.
And that is why humanity is always in a state of trouble.
İnsanın meselesi odur.
That is the main matter and the source of people's problems.
Allah Azze ve Celle her şey onun elinde.
Everything is within the hands of Allah Almighty.
Sana güzellik veren o.
He, Almighty Allah, is the one who gives beauty.
İyilik veren o.
He is the one who gives goodness to you.
Nimetlerini veren o.
It is Him, Almighty Allah, who gives His blessings and divine favors to you.
Onu sen düşünüp Allah'a şükretmek yerine hiç aklına gelmez.
And instead of thinking about all these beautiful divine favors and blessings and contemplating Allah Almighty and being grateful to Allah Almighty, it doesn't even occur to people to be thankful and to even think about Allah Almighty.
Sırf kendi derdinle işte şöyle.
Instead, people try to live their own lives with their own problems and troubles.
Bu pahalı, bu ucuz, bu güzel, bu kötü diye hayatını sürdürürsün ama
and people thus live a life in complaining about things being too expensive or something being too cheap. They say this is beautiful, they say that is ugly, and their life is characterized by a life in distress.
Sıkıntıda olarak ferahlık yok.
People lead life of trouble without relief.
Güzellik yok.
They lead a life without beauty.
Daima sıkıntı, kavga, kıyamet, insanlarla geçinmemiz.
People are always in a state of trouble. They're fighting each other as if it were doomsday, and people don't get along with each other.
İnsanlara sövmek, onlar sana söver, aile karısıyla kocası arasında iyilik olmaz.
People speak ill of each others and they fight each others. There's no goodness within families, no goodness, beauty between a wife and a husband.
Hepsi bu Allah Azze ve Celle hatırlamadıkları için.
But however, what this comes down to is to the sheer fact that people don't remember Allah Almighty.
Allah Azze ve Celle hatırlatsa, zikretseler, zikredemek, Allah'ı hatırlamak, Allah Azze ve Celle'yi hatırlamak.
But we should remember Allah Almighty. We should never forget about Allah Almighty and be in a state of making constantly dhikr. And this is what dhikr means. It means to remember Allah Almighty and to be aware of Allah Almighty.
Onu aklına olunca insanın Allah Azze ve Celle beni görüyor, beni işitiyor, Allah hazır, Allah nazır, Allah may, Allah benim de bilse insan o vakit her şey kolay olur, güzel olur.
And that is what we should always keep in our minds, is that He Almighty Allah is the one who sees us, who hears us. We should say, Allah sees me, Allah Almighty hears me, Allah Almighty is present with me, Allah Almighty is watching me, Allah is with me. And if you knew that, and if you always had that awareness that Allah Almighty is with you, then everything would become easy and beautiful.
Başka türlü ne kolay olur, ne güzel olur.
Otherwise, nothing will be easy. Nothing will be beautiful.
Bu dert, en büyük dert Allah Azze ve Celle'yi hatırlamamak, zikretmemek.
That is the biggest trouble. The greatest affliction is not remembering Allah Almighty.
Odur. Onun için bu dünya şimdiler daha güne daha kötü oluyor.
Not doing dhikr, not remembering Allah Almighty, that is the biggest trouble. And that is also why this world is getting worse day by day.
Çünkü daha önce insanlar hatırlardı, Allah Azze ve Celle'yi zikrederdi.
Before, people used to remember Allah Almighty. They used to do dhikr.
Şimdi çok yani başka meşgul edecek şeyler çok oldu.
Now, however, there are many distractions, many things that occupy people with something else instead of Allah Almighty.
İnsan Allah Azze ve Celle unutuyor.
And then people forget about Allah Almighty because they are distracted by all those other things.
Başka şeylere dalıyor.
And people delve into other things.
Şunu yapayım, bunu yapayım derken kendi sıkıntıya girmiş oluyor.
And then people, they want to do this, they want to do that. And while they are in that pursuit of something, they get themselves into trouble.
Nasıl kurtulacağım diye uğraşıyor.
And then they end up in a situation where they are wondering about how they could potentially save themselves.
Uğraştıkça batıyor Allah.
But the more they then struggle, the more they sink.
Muhafaza etsin insanları.
May Allah Almighty protect people.
Hidayet versin ki
May Allah Almighty guide them.
mutlu olsunlar inşallah.
May Allah Almighty guide them so that they may be happy, inshallah.
Ve minallah tevfik. El Fatiha.